Evening,
right.
everyone. Welcome to Mecha Pew Pew. I am your host, Mecha Osaka, aka Jonathan. Joined with my co-host Ariel. Ayo Mecha, how are you, Ariel?
Good. Hey, how's it going, guys? I want to say hi to everybody joining us both on YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, tonight is gonna be a fun one. But yeah, like for like, I'm just glad to be here. We're gonna be chatting with something really fun tonight.
Welcome, Ariel. Welcome,
And
Ariel.
welcome. Let's welcome Hayden. How's it going?
Hey,
Hello,
glad to be back. Yeah. What's good, guys?
Welcome. How are you, my man?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right.
Good,
Yeah.
good. How's GUNPLA treating you these days?
Like garbage?
Like garbage? Anything on the workbench?
I'm making a core Gundam right now.
A
Sorry,
core
I'm pouring tea
Gundam.
right now. How unprofessional.
The one 135 or the
The 144 core Gundam. The
Oh yeah.
yeah. I actually here.
Okay. Not the core like.
I have it in this little baggie here.
Yeah,
you want me to
amazing.
show it off?
Bag,
I
man.
could. Oh man, it's priceless now. I got like so many pieces. I'm trying to kit bash it into a super robot. I won't say
Nice.
which super robot, but I'm just right now just finding pieces that are kind of similar to the shape, and then just trying to kit bash it together. Yeah.
I totally turned off one of my lights. I think I like this mood now. Just kind of like
The
blue
darker
and
one?
purple. Yeah, the darker one. I
Nice.
think I'm gonna keep this for tonight. I think just to change it up.
Nice. So what does it look like? Your record.
So far it looks like this.
Not bad. Extending
that's-
everything. That's good. That's good.
So this is So the thing is, I want to make it so that the core Gundam kind of like goes back into the core Gundam mode, right? Maybe I should get the lights here. Oh, that's too bright. Man, I have a shit lighting situation here. But what it is this is magnetic.
Nice.
So this piece comes off, and then you can reattach it back to the original core
Okay,
Gundam.
so it's not a transforming Gundam. It will be like a what do you call that again? A part forming?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Core
like-
Gundam's like the whole shtick is that like it can turn small and then it could turn big again, right? Because of the size. But here is like the shoulder
Yeah.
piece here, and then I constructed an additional joint here to widen it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it looks like this. And then this piece now just has to be kit bashed with something to like
That's good.
make it standard for the size. But
Very good. Is that part
I
of
don't know. It started-
like a personal project or a part of the group project or something?
yeah, it was part of the GUNPLA's group build for Core Gundam. But then I was like, I had like stuff to do, so I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna make it in time, but it's okay. Yeah.
Nice. John,
Nice.
are you working on any Gundams lately?
Always. Just finished my HG jigging. Put a lot of LEDs in there, making it all pretty. Up detailed it. It's a great how do you call it? Like a great empty canvas. Like such a basic Gundam, you can like really do whatever you want with it. And then I immediately jumped on the
Luna Marina Zaku.
Lunar Zaku, yeah, that's it. Honestly, it's a great kit, but it doesn't feel like a master grade, right? It feels like a Reborn 100 that's been upgraded, and I think that's what the rumors say. So at least, yeah. But I mean, it's honestly like it's crazy good looking, and that's all I'm for. As we'll hear later on in the show, like I'm all for aesthetic. And then I also tested some spoons. It took. I'm not kidding. It took me a full day to find this. GX Bloody Red, and then I was going for the GX Red, right, from Mr. Hobby, but I realized it was too pink, so it was really off-putting. And then I was trying on with the C75 from Mr. Hobby as well, and then I realized merge them together, my friend, and then I found like a red tone that has a pink shade to it, and I'm very satisfied with my color scheme, if you could say.
Nice. No, it looks good.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to see how that's gonna finish. Just a couple of things here for you guys before we fully dive into things. Renovan, all the way out in the far east, is saying hello. There's a comment here for you, John. This is from M Shake.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did you build your Optimus Prime yet? Yeah. Did you build?
You got me a Optimus Prime for my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. It's a great. I told him thank you already. Yeah, but yeah, thanks again. It's a great gift.
And for Hayden, nice custom there. Hey, that's from Renovan.
Oh, thank you, Renovan. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nice. And what about you, Ariel? What are you working on these days?
I just finished snapping today. It's like a whole bunch of like just high grades lately, but no, actually, I was working on a couple of master grades.
High grades is fun. High grades is
are
passion.
fun. This. I don't know if you guys. I got this from MSMN Studio. It's such a really good store out there. Yeah, it's a great store. This is the high grade Ortega from the Black Trinity set, but I have a spare bazooka that I plugged in him, and he didn't come with any other weapons aside from the great axe, the heat hawk, and the machine gun. But I didn't like his regular rifle.
That axe is amazing.
The axe is great. It's perfect. It's huge. It's definitely a piece that goes with the Zaku. But I find that like I wanted extra more on the shield, so I added the rocket pod, the rocket pods and the bazooka at the back of it, just to give it like a little bit more definition and silhouette. But this guy here, I could see myself painting after the clean versus weathered build. If you guys are joining that, don't forget to check that out over at USA Gundam Store and Zach Aurelius. They're having a contest for that as well. But yeah, like it's been that just building the Zaku today.
You're entering for that, right?
Yeah, I am actually.
Painted and weathered. Y'all, I entered this Gal Gaigar. Did I say it? Oh. I'm entering it's not Gal Gaigar. Very similar, but not Gal Gaigar. But
nice.
I'm entering for that as well, actually. Yeah.
Damn it. Hayden is so original.
Just want to say hi to like the 88.
Speaking of original.
Oh yeah. Speaking of original.
Yeah.
Just want to say hi to Legna88. Hello, new viewer here. Just recently follow AO Mecha. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome, and welcome to the show. Let's take a couple of comments, and then we're gonna get into our topic for tonight. Just started Heavy Arms Speed Bandai. Had it on my desk for a few weeks. I've been busy. That's from Neon. Thank you for joining us. And lastly here, let's go with Ray. I was right event. Hey, does Hey and Mecha Osaka have Instagram account? Yes, they do. Check out Hey_BC. And let me find that. I think I still have them here. Do I have them here?
Hey_BC.
Hey.
Yeah. I will have to plug that in a bit because I think I had to make room for like Vanpla. But you could follow Hayden and check out the Facebook groups at Vanpla and Mecha Osaka here.
No, that doesn't really count. No,
lingering.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
There we go.
I do have like an Instagram account, Mecha Osaka. The issue is that like I just post my straight builds. Like it's really, and it's one out of 10 that I'm gonna post. Right? I'm really not active. I should. I'm actually really active on my on the MSMN Studio on the stores page.
That's right. And also, guys, tonight's show. If you guys are just tuning in, we do have super chat available for YouTube. Any donations that you guys put in towards the show goes towards our production of the show to make it better, either getting gear or getting software for it. Also, if you guys have any further questions during the show, don't forget to type questions and then followed by your message. That way, I could monitor it and get it on the screen or ask these guys doing that. So I'll be the operator for that. And I think those are the major ones I want to say. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, both on Twitch and YouTube. John, what do we got on deck tonight?
Tonight we have a taboo subject, and we realized it was a taboo subject when we started looking for sources and other subject, what people were doing, so that we can talk about it, and nobody talks about it. Nobody actually mentions the elephant in the room. And tonight we're going to talk about bootlegs, third party, all the various sites,
unofficially produced, unlicensed,
stuff like that. And obviously it's all going to be opinions, right? It's all going to be like opinions, and they're very large spectrum of opinions of like we don't. Nothing is black and white, and there's always a spectrum of right or wrong and stuff like that. And we're gonna dive into that tonight, right? I think that we can start by defining what we're going to talk about it tonight, right? So you want to go ahead and define the various like categories that
Well,
we've established.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see you guys POV on it. So we didn't really talk about it in full detail because we want to save it for the show, and I'm kind of excited to get you guys both Hayden and John's POV on it. But as a disclaimer, just moving forward, that these are just our opinions and POV on it. We are not here to promote bootlegs of any kind. We are not here to sell or get you guys enticed to go out and support said movement or whatever. It's just a bunch of guys talking about our POV on it, and I think the definitions that we have here, or at least kind of like putting into context of what we're going to be talking about as our boundary. Like this is where we're going to be playing with. We're not going to be going around and all of it. And I'm going to make sure that these guys stay within that circle anyway, so it's going to be fun. Big umbrella here. So we've narrowed it to a couple of items. So do you mind if I'm just going to talk?
Absolutely. Go ahead, man.
Jump in, guys, if you guys feel like I missed some points or anything like that. So the categories that we have written down here is straight copies, aka just straight up bootleg. This is the thing that you go up to another guy, look at his stuff, recreate it, sell it for your own thing, make profit. So it's also called stealing, but we're gonna get to that a little bit later. Enhanced version, okay, aka third party. This one is kind of loose still because when we're talking about enhanced, most of them we're gonna be talking about are like resin conversion kits or like add-on parts to upgrade an existing licensed product. We're going to be talking about like Bandai, Kotobukiya, the big names here, guys. Sorry, just going back to straight builds, straight copies. We're going to be talking about some examples of bootlegs. And you've probably seen this, guys. If you don't, go do some research. Bendy is one of them. TT Hong Lee, Daban. There's just so much more. GD model.
Yeah. Like the list is infinite. Like there's so many people out there.
All right. Okay. So we talked about straight copies and bootlegs, enhanced versions, aka third party. We talked about that. Those are things like Dragon Momoko and Mechanicore. All right. So we're gonna get to that as well. Now I did mention resin conversion. So this one falls under kind of like enhanced version, like third party and resin, I think, because with the enhancement we're talking about adding something to an existing licensed product, whereas some resin and resin conversions could be their own thing. So resin conversion I think falls under upgrades, and then full resin like statues or like an actual full figure.
That's it.
I think for example would be like G System or what's that other one from forgot, but it's like a full skeletal system that they made there. Then there's we're going to talk about also the general intellectual property, and that is like upgraded metal parts, custom decals, like the accessories, apparels, that kind of stuff. So those are I think what we're going to be talking about tonight as a context for it. So I think that's a perfect umbrella that we're going to be in.
To summarize the umbrella terms, we have I think the bootlegs, the third party, the conversion, and just general intellectual property, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna jump right in the subject, right? So what is happening is that I think Hayden has a great opinion on that, but like with the rise of like the demand for bootleg kits in Asia, a lot of companies in China have been starting up producing different stuff based on the intellectual property of Bandai. You told me like a very good like explanation of what happened and how it started and what was the mind behind it, right?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start talking about that. So the thing is like with bootlegs in general, bootlegs are they're created to fill a market void, right? Like and the thing with China is that like if you look back when TT Hongli was created, man, even when I was like a kid, I remember I was like 5, maybe 4. I was like outside like a schoolyard, right? And across the street, they sell model kits. And that's kind of how I got into it. I actually got into model kits through like, you guys know Mini 4-wheel drive? Do you guys know what that is?
I have a Tamiya. I have a PCR one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a power slot car, right? With a motor, and then you just put like batteries in it and it'll start running, right?
It's a
But the
fixed
thing is,
track
it came in
kind
a
of thing,
sprue.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it
right,
came
right,
from a
right.
sprue. Yeah, and Beyblades back then came from a sprue as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, Beyblades,
So
right? Yeah.
yeah, Beyblades used to come from sprues. You don't just like straight up buy them and then, but they're like, since then they've moved on. And the reason that, they moved on is because that fad is kind of gone for young children. They're no longer interested in that, right? But for Gundams, a lot of people in China, like long time ago, to be frank, they can't always buy the real stuff because it's not financially feasible, right?
Right.
Not all the time. And usually they don't get a lot of imports from Japan anyways, right? So because Japan, like when Bandai makes their Gundams, it's all internal in Japan. They don't outsource it to anybody else, so it's hard to also even get exports, right? Hong Kong
Right.
for the longest time like had that issue as well, but they became the exporting market, in that sector. Nowadays, with the emergence of middle class in China, we are seeing these bootlegs being sprung up everywhere that are way higher quality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially, yeah, like Dragon Momoko, stuff like that. And it's just all due to like the economic, like prosperity,
that's it.
I guess.
But I
in
think
China's recent
also
years.
one of the
Yeah.
things that happened is that's it. The quality kind of went much higher in terms of stuff. And then this is where there used to be straight copies where it was like cheaply made, cheaply copied, like no quality assurance or anything. But then arose the enhanced copies where how did I put it again? It was an homage to what they loved. They loved the Gundams, right? And they tried to make their own design and making like a oh boy.
We're just talking about
beautiful.
Put context,
Beautiful.
right? And quality.
Yeah.
I
This
was
is
talking
real
about that,
art,
right?
okay? This is real art.
Jesus Christ.
Let's
But
talk
that's
about
the thing, right? Go on.
let's talk about quality real quick.
Oh
just
yeah, for sure.
because,
It's actually one of the main subject of this, right?
one of the main subjects.
Yeah. Well,
Straight copy, right? Like this is this is not straight copy. This is not something, but it's like a close representation. So if you go to any of your, how do I make it? Like your little China city, Chinatown, in your regional department, you'll definitely find stores that carry that, and not just Gundam. I'm talking about a whole bunch of slew of merchandises, Louis Vuitton, sunglasses, Ray-Bans, etc. Right. So when I was a kid, I know of Gundam, but every time I come to stores, I'm like, I don't think that's it. That little feeling inside you that like
there's something missing. There's something missing.
Yeah, but there's something missing, but there's also something that they have, right? And it's worth mentioning that I think we're going to talk about it like a bit further, like about like a brand new release that happened, The Judge, right? A lot of people say, oh, but it's an original design. Yes, but it has a V-fin. So is it intellectual property theft or is it an original design? I mean, it's highly debatable, right? But like, is there intellectual property on the V-fin? I don't know. So same as this, you can tell that it's born from a Gundam, Reborns.
Right. Yeah.
You can tell that it's born from a Gundam, but it's not it, right? It's not it at all.
It's all stolen molds, right? Like if we're looking at it, you have molds from Seed. You have actually the whole thing is probably from Seed aside from the arms here. Like this is from like the Buster Gundam from the looks of it, probably high grade. Somebody built this,
That's
made a cast, and then called it a day. Even like the fairy wings.
These aren't even model kits. Right? These are straight up like toys, right? I mean, even we get them even here in Canada and even in America, right? Like you go to Dollar Tree, you're gonna find like Bade's Trauma or something like that, right? Where it's just like a shitty transformer that's clearly a ripoff. But obviously, like with social media nowadays, I'm sure they know what they're doing. Like they're they're purposely making a stupid name, so you're like, haha, I'm gonna buy this for fun. But
what's happening again? Like there's some more higher quality ones that are going, and they're calling like the Freedom Fighter. Oh yeah, the Fighters. That's what they're
Fighter
calling.
Series,
right there. Sorry, it was right in front of me. I didn't even.
Yeah, I was like, you mean this guy right here, John?
Yeah, that's it. So they're calling it like the Reborn's Fighter instead of like the Reborn.
Yeah, I think it's a pun on Kiro Senshi, right? In Chinese, when we read it, it's Jianshi, Jinxi, which means like a warrior, or a fighter.
Oh, okay.
So Yeah. I think that's like a stupid dumb play on word on that. But it's like taking Google Translate, translating into Chinese, and then
Yeah.
retranslating it back to English, and that's what you get. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, let's talk about like talk quality. That like to educate people who might not be aware of this. So if this is your first time, diving into bootlegs or like just getting to know, like, hey, what is bootleg? What's official? If it doesn't say Bandai straight up on the box in red or blue, the current lighting logo is blue, then it most likely is a knockoff. So for example, this one and the next couple of ones that I have here, this one
Yeah.
is one of the most for me when I was learning about this, or like my first experiences was bendy. I did not know that bendy was a thing, so I went and bought
Yeah.
a wing. The box art looks great. It looks like something that you would find officially. Sure, there was a Chinese or whatever different language on that made me go, okay, well maybe it's just a branding that's because like they need to import. I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. It must have been like 12 or 13 years old. I was like pulled into my mom's store and looking at it. But like the quality of their reprint and like the marketing that they've been putting now for these is very, very legitimate in a way that's like
Mhm.
you could barely tell if it's if it's a fake or not just because
Was that
sorry, right?
was that in Canada or?
Oh, it was in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I got it in
yeah.
Canada.
Because if it was in
Yeah.
Philippines is considered like the biggest
Oh, yeah.
or the second biggest
Second biggest,
buyer
yeah.
of bootlegs in the world, and it's part of the culture, right? Like it's
Mhm.
and
It
that
is. We have a strip there called Divisoria, and this one here, like you could buy anything, legit anything, L- anything. Like that could be bootleg. That could be, but the thing is, like it's a cheap thing. It's like you haggle and all. You could even haggle for
Yeah.
bootleg. It's crazy. Like I imagine trying to haggle for like a knockoff.
Yeah.
Like
But
that's like unheard of in our
and
society. Right?
I think in terms of society, I think we can bring up the subject of acceptance by society, right? The concept that if it's the norm in the country, and the definition of right or wrong is very blurred, right? The spectrum, like I said, like it's gray area where what is right, what is wrong. Well, if it's everywhere, then it's part of everyone's life. If it's part of everyone's life, there's nothing really wrong about it. It's just a personal choice.
Well, yes, and we're gonna get to definitely a whole
Well,
bunch
yeah,
of
for
gray
sure.
issues here, both personal preference, which you just described, and then there's the legal side, which the government has to enforce, right? And that's
Yeah.
something
Mhm.
in Philippines or like Asia countries is not really enforced because like it takes money to enforce that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it will take a lot of resources, especially when the government is not really directly monetizing off it, right? Other than
Yeah.
like it's like handing out fines. And sorry, this is my POV from what I've seen before as well, right? So
Yeah.
if the company itself, so for example, Disney goes after artists in Artist Alley that's like copying their stuff, I'd like to see that, but like Disney won't
Yeah.
will probably spend the money for that just because it's the only
So
time that I think, and we're gonna get to that whole legality is like when they busted what was it, Dragon?
that's it. That's it. Like, do you want to? I have like a full like spiel about it. Like,
Full spiel on that. I just want to finish. I just want to finish raise awareness of like
oh,
what
sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
boxes are. So if
So
you guys
these are all
care,
copies, right?
Yeah.
These are straight copies, and
Mhm.
from my opinion, this is theft. And I believe, as an opinion, this is wrong, completely wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like copying, stealing image is just it's unoriginal. It's completely unoriginal, and it's not something one should strive. Like I'm not gonna admire you because you basically stole the kit and copied it, right? I have no there's no merit in that, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Aiden, what do you think of that?
I think it's I don't think that, I mean, it is morally wrong, obviously, right? To profit off of someone else's hard work, morally that's incorrect. But it's kind of weird to me too, because it's like, how do you like in China? You think about it, right? And you can see that thing on heavily discounted thing, and then back then, if you don't really care about quality, you want something to put together.
Mm.
That's something that people go for, right? But I think within the last maybe like 5 to 10 years, things have really started to kind of accelerate in perfectionism. Like
Yeah.
Bandai has really begun to make these things no longer model kits. These are snappable toys in a sense, right?
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
like, I mean, like, let's just be honest about it. Bandai model kits are like super high quality. Everything snaps together well.
So I think we need to define what is quality first, right? So
I
when
guess
we
so,
talk
yeah.
about quality, I from my point of view, I believe there's engineering and then there's aesthetic.
Okay. I think Bandai's aesthetic is garbage, but from an engineering standpoint, it's beautiful, right?
Absolutely.
It's almost perfected, right?
Absolutely.
Compared to like other model kits, like tanks, airplanes, cars, where require glue.
Like,
paint.
who the fuck's gonna buy like Revell nowadays? You know, when you could buy a robot like at the quarter of a price, and it's also really well engineered, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Straight out of the box kind of thing.
Yeah,
and just like, again, this right here is like, if we're talking about quality, right? Like we're just talking. This is a Bandai. I wish I had something to kind of compare it to, but like.
Oh, but like talk about like the Moon Gundam, right?
And all that, right? Yeah.
Like in my opinion, the Moon Gundam might be like the best high grade in terms of engineering. It's just incredible. It looks like a master grade that's just been reduced, and it's amazing. But then if you look at older kits, like it's not the same. Like it's basic, but still the proportions are still like on point. But when it turns to quality, like you were talking about, right? And then there's a different aspect to that. But when people straight copies, I in my opinion, and I guess you guys' opinion is morally wrong. Enhanced copies, right? Or AKA third party that a lot of people want to call. So we have Dragon Momoko and Daban, I think, that were making their custom stuff, right? Completely custom. And at some point, I think that one, their engineering is shit because they don't have the money for quality control. Right? But that's the thing. But if you're a modeler, it's a challenge. It's not a hurdle. So I think that Bandai, when they saw that, and you were mentioning the rise of the middle class, the rise of the rich class of
maybe
China.
we should probably elaborate on that a little bit before we get into Dragon
Absolutely.
Momoko. So the thing is, like, like China, has really taken off in terms of like their economic prowess too, right? And they really are, whether Westerners like to admit it or not, they're becoming like a real contest to Americans, right? Not even in terms of like just economic, right? It's just like they got so much, they got like a entire population up into the middle class now, right? It's very reminiscent of like America in the 50s and 60s, right? And during this, with the emergence of middle class and people, having land buyouts, these Chinese people are getting rich, right? And, the standard of, living goes up. And that means that Chinese people are allowed to, now have the economic freedom to consume products that they once were not able to, right? Yeah. So with that emergence of a new market and more money on the table, companies like Dragon Momoko, now they're making kits that, maybe engineering, obviously not as good as Bandai. Yeah. The quality control is not as good, but the aesthetic changes are being created as an alternative market, right? Again, we're talking about market void, right? So, because Bandai has some aesthetic that people might not like, Dragon Momoko tries to fill that void, and they're also, Chinese, and Chinese people, see that, and they're like, okay, one, it's from China, so it's probably going to be cheaper if they buy it here, and if I buy it from my homeland, right? Whereas I might get like a premium, Bandai model kit, and that's, I think, the reason also why why Japan is like Bandai themselves are carving out that territory, going there physically, right? With the new Freedom Gundam.
Yeah, is it a 1-to-1?
It is a 1-to-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a Freedom Gundam in Shanghai, and despite what you guys might think, at the end of the day, this is a money game, right? And they've collaborated with the Chinese, government to kind of like get rid of Dragon Momoko, right? I
Exactly.
remember there was a raid.
But I think
Or something like that.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I'm gonna quote Derek on that, because so Derek actually has like the same opinion as you when Derek from GUNPLA, by the way. He said that with the rise of this middle class, there was companies that rose to the middle class equally, right? And that's why they went after Dragon Momoko and Daban and not the smaller guys, because they saw a competition. Right, they saw a market that they could reach, the middle class, because the cheap ones like the copies Bendy and TT Hongli, like they were actually releasing kits for cheap kits, not quality. It's not even a competition. It's not even like something to worry about. But when a company like Dragon Momoko comes in and makes a quality thing that is a rival to their own, they need to take actions, right? But they didn't touch the small guys. They only touched the ones that they feel threatened by.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so Bandai is just going in there and trying to fill that market void themselves, because China is a goldmine of opportunity to reach out to its netizens, right? Like, for example, if we look at other industries, like Home Depot, for example, they try to go in there, they try to set up shop. It failed, right? And the reason, why Home Depot failed is because there isn't like a DIY culture in China. So that's why I'm saying, like, China's internal like little culture and everything that they have is so unique, but I think Japan are very close to understanding, like, better than at least like a Westerner would, right?
We got a question here from Miguel.
Miguel.
Miguel here. He's
I think it's Miguel.
It's Miguel. Miguel. Oh my god, Miggy. I'm gonna call him Miggy for short. What's up, Miggy? Why you all so cute, John? Why you all so cute, man? Why you all so cute?
I don't know. Build a lot of Gunpla.
Do you have a good skincare routine going? Is that maybe why?
Yeah, our Asian genetics kicks in really well.
Yeah,
Asian genetics. That's
my
right.
Asian genetic. That's what's working out.
Yeah, I'll look like this till I'm 60. Then I'll all of a sudden look like I'm 100 years old.
It's
Balls
just
were wrinkled.
straight down. Let's continue on. Where were we at this? So we were talking about talking about enhanced, right?
So and we're talking about like the fact that they're targeting companies that might be like competition to them, and illegally. It's true. They're like the only thing that they had against them. They were like, well, they're illegal, so we need to take them down.
But look how sexy this is. Like, how can you say no to this?
That's a Daban? Is that Daban or Dragon Momoko?
This is Dragon Momoko.
Yeah. So my issue is, if I know Bandai has a target market, right?
Sorry. 1 second. Sorry. Is this Dragon Momoko?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Should be. It's the.
Oh, it looks like shit. Okay. Anyways, go on. Oh, sorry.
So the thing is,
this is the Testament, right? Like,
if these companies, the Testament. If these companies are making such quality, aesthetically pleasing kits,
why it's definitely more complex than Bandai's for sure.
But why? Why is Bandai not stepping up their games? Like, why?
Minimum effort.
Mark my words.
And there's something wrong about that. Minimum effort. And if you're being there is literally a guy in his basement making a better kit than you, and you're a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Why? And that's the thing. It's on purpose, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think of? Like, what do you think Bandai has a?
Okay, so what I was gonna say is, mark my words. They are going to create Bandai will create a series, a line that are going to showcase and illustrate like more complex details right out of the box. But as I'm saying this, I think they already are. Have you guys seen the newest Calamity Gundam?
Yes.
MGEX too, yeah. But have you guys seen the Calamity Gundam, the new one? It's not part of the RE line like everybody thought it would be. And the reason why is because the detail on that Calamity Gundam is very reminiscent of like something closer to Dragon Momoko than it is a traditional like Gundam like master grade. And I think the other thing is also there is a risk with creating this type of aesthetic. It's not generalized well enough. If you make a model kit like this, right? If you make a Dragon Momoko special looking kit in these aesthetics, Sure, a lot of people who like snap building and not really doing much customizing would really appreciate this kit, right? But I know there are a lot of, and Bandai knows that there's a lot of like old school guys
Advanced
think that,
users
like,
or
if you have-
advanced modelers, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, this might not be their cup of tea, right? And if
Mhm.
you release a model kit that does, like, let's say like your HGUC line, and you want to release like a Gundam, right? If it's too stylized, it's gonna deter away from like the general market, right? And I think the safest thing to do is for them to create a generalized version, which is something that they already have, and then they can experiment, right? Go with G40, and go
is it
with the
possible
new version.
Is it possible that the high grade is the basic line and the real grade is the advanced detail line? Maybe
it kind of is like that, but the thing is, like, even the real grades have a sense of aesthetic of their own that is still standardized, right?
Yeah.
If you look at a Mark II real grade and you put it right beside a Zeta real grade, you can kind of tell, with a little bit of education and looking into model kit, you can tell that they're definitely from the same line, right? The line is to fill in that aesthetic standardization. With Dragon Momoko, I personally feel like this is hyper aesthetic that appeals to a certain amount of people, right? Maybe towards a lot of people, but definitely not for everybody, right? So for Bandai to make something like this, in some sense,
or even like
risk.
if we take it even further, like this one here, is another one from I forgot, Motor something. I forgot
Nuclear.
Motor Nuclear.
Yeah.
Motor Nuclear.
So that is another point in there, is that a lot of people are releasing new kits. Is this a Gundam? That's not a Gundam, right? That is.
It is. It's a Barbados, man.
Is it? But that's
it's
the thing.
a Gundam converted into something else. That's
exactly it. So I think we can segue into the judge, right? Into that. This is original. This is, like, in my opinion, this is completely original, and I think the judge is also original. Now
we're gonna get to the judge in a sec, but before, I just want to swing back about. I want to swing back first on what you said about, like, why Bandai will not be creating this kind of stuff. Who are target audience is so important. For something like this, you really are going to that super niche, super smaller sector of the hobby, which is not the family friendly one. This is not your usual consumer that they're going to target. These are the guys that are super collectors. Will definitely have Bandai is going to charge a ton of money just to create something similar to this.
Do you think that it could have been the high resolution line was the response to hyper aesthetics?
You know what? I was thinking about that for the longest time, based on anecdotal evidence, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But I genuinely think that they've been upping their game, kind of like making high-res models and all these things. Just try to like experiment and kind of go as far as they possibly can, because this extremity creates kind of also like it also creates like people wanting to be like, oh, who actually made this, right? Who actually created the mold for this? And in Japan, you don't want mechanical designers that worked on your work to stand out too much unless you're Kotoki, right? Like, you don't want it's kind of like I don't know if you guys play video games, but like the thing with Kojima, right? Like Konami and Kojima, Konami doesn't want to kind of create a face for the company, right? And I don't think Bandai wants to create a face for the company either, other than Meijin, who is a spokesperson, and he's not a designer of any kind, right? So if you make something like this, people will be like, who made this, right?
But it's also the fact of like in terms of the high resolution, I have a theory, and it's simply a theory that possibly they're stuck in some sort of corporate marketing self-limiting mentality, where they release the high resolution, then they gathered marketing data, they put the minimal effort that they want to put, they start gathering marketing data. It's like, this thing is not selling as much as our lowest tier kits. Let's release more lower tier kits than fewer high quality, because data shows that it's not working. When in fact it could be like the wrong marketing approach, the wrong pricing, the wrong positioning. And there's a lot of marketing position you can take that a product will work or fail, and maybe they set up themselves to fail, and that's why the line is not striving anymore.
can I add on to that?
Absolutely.
Basically, Bandai, like I said, has a target audience that they're catering to. I think that's well established. They're generating money off a formula that works for that audience that they've already put a habit towards. When you see a Gundam, you know exactly what a Gundam is because that's what you've seen all your life, or like that's known about it. The minute you start seeing like hyper detail, as Hayden mentioned, it becomes to like, well, who are we targeting here for? And like, and these artists that target these people usually make them for themselves first, right? They're making these for themselves so that, hey, this looks pretty cool, okay, I'm going to mass produce it, maybe make money out of it to buy back the time that I spent creating it. I've seen artists mentality do that as well, not just for this, I'm talking about for artwork or for other things, because like, when they replicate, enhance, create something new, you would think that there's going to be like, some kind of exchange for service in their mind that they're going to get out of selling this through various means. And I don't get me wrong, I think that the art for this one, the design for this one is amazing. It captured me. Price wise, it varies. Like we're going to talk about the
exactly.
Judge have that on deck. Like that one's a higher tier.
Price wise, that's the thing. If Bandai would release this, it would be in the $300, $400, $500. While because the production part of it is that you have to pay for research and development, right? And you have to sell it to many people. While on the other hand, maybe their mentality is like, I'll release the basic kits to like a general form of that basic kit at a certain price point that people are comfortable with. Like if you see a high grade that is high per detail and it ends up being $150, it doesn't reach as many people, right?
Yeah.
But if you see a great looking Gundam that is like $30 and you're like, wow, it's my price point. It's my basic level design.
But when you see a Gundam that's like, for $5 in like a box that looks like and smells like that, that's a whole different ballpark altogether. I think you're just justifying the cost for it, but like there's always going to be some kind of cost associated with when it comes to this. So, anyways, quality wise, will Bandai do something like this? Highly doubtful in the next future. It's like the price is going to go high if they somehow like they even released the counter to this. I think the Testament Gundam, which is a P Bandai already, got released, and they put a side-by-side comparison. Some people prefer the P Bandai. I myself prefer the third party just because I think proportion and aesthetic-wise, they nailed it more so than the Bandai release. And that's where we're having this conversation. Well, why can't Bandai do it? Why can't they do this cool thing, right? Is it a designer flaw? Is it like a mandate that they need to meet like an X amount of quality or time to produce? What if they rush the design and they need to get this out before X quarter of the year? We don't know all these things happen, but like understanding the fact that there are companies out there doing this kind of stuff opens up an alternative for people to get and feed their hobby without having to rely on a big company. And I think that is where my POV comes in, where is it right or wrong? I don't think it boils down to right or wrong for me. It's more like, hey, will I be satisfied with this product for myself and my collection?
Yeah,
that's the first. The second part, and this is the thing that's like the big elephant in the room, is like we're technically stealing if we're buying like straight up copies. When we're supporting someone that stole idea by purchasing these from them, and it hurts the companies because they're paying for all these laws, all these regulations that they pay taxes for and all that stuff for their employees. For example, they need to pay these guys.
But then there's a point of like you're using legality, right, which is a relative term based on where you're from. When it comes to all the efforts into that, like these companies, they're making thousands of dollars. Bandai's making billions of dollars. You're not stealing property. You're not stealing, I don't know, freedom. You're stealing ideas, right? And and the concept of stealing is very wide. What I'm saying is that they're not stealing ideas. They're borrowing ideas. The bootlegs, they are 100% copying, but I mean the people who release original designs with influence from Gundam, it looks like a Gundam. It will look like a Freedom. Like this doesn't look like a Barbatos, of course, but
let's talk about that. Like let's talk about conversion then.
So if we're going to absolutely. Now, okay, I have something to add to conversion. So conversion kits is basically people you need to buy the core kit and you slap on a detail kit on it, right? So the gray zone is wide on there, right? Because you have to support the main company, and you're also supporting an artist, right? So in this philosophy, Bandai has been releasing what is it again? Like license, right? Certain license for events. One day event, you can E3, I think. You can only buy these kits to conventions, and Bandai has been limiting these things.
Market
Why?
and all that stuff. Yeah.
I don't even know. Well, Off. What's your opinion on these resin conversion?
I mean, it depends on how limited run they are. I personally don't buy resin conversion, just because, like I like working with putty and working with plow plate. But I mean, I could see the total merit to this too, right? Like, it's just another market void. Bandai would never make these higher, resolution limited
exactly.
like resin kits. So
Yeah.
I think they're forever gonna like be here. And in a sense, like, Infinite Dimension and like all these like different resin casters, they also have their own sense of standardization in terms of aesthetic, right?
Yes.
Like even Infinite Dimension has their, over detailed garbage, right? So so it's like all standardized. It's all standardized, right? Even the paint line that they use, right? Or that they advertise, right? To get that certain look. But
one of the thing is that, do you think that Bandai is wrong for limiting the production capabilities of artists? So basically, let's say Anchor It, let's say Yaoji Land, Fortune Meow, Strictly Studio. These guys are releasing their own designs using original Gundam kits, but with add-on parts, and they do not have license for it. Legally, they are wrong. Ethically, I think they are artists at heart. And I think
they are, but it's when it becomes monetary, depending on which artist you ask, that ruins your integrity, because you're trying to share your design. Sure, you can just make tutorials on how you got there. You don't have to sell the resin itself, right? You can make a couple of bucks, limited print, low key, don't tell anybody. But if you advertise it, have your own website, you have your domain, you have like, all these things set up, then really what you're doing is a business. You're not an artist. But that's just how I feel. Right?
No, but what you're saying is that if you want to live from your art, you need to basically. I think I'm supporting the artist before the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. That's all. Yeah. That's the way I see it. I see the artist who's trying to live from his art. Yeah. And that's all I see, right? Personally, I don't see, like, I think these legal battles are reserved for Bandai's legal department, and I'm gonna build. I just want to build. I want to build beautiful things and enjoy stuff. And who am I to tell you what you can and can't do? Like that's in terms of builder, right? All these builders who wants to build these things. That's not my position. I can't judge anyone for building anything they want. But in legality, I think it's Bandai's responsibility to know who crossed the line. So far, it's only been like the people releasing their own kits. They haven't touched any of these, and I'm saying high production resin conversion. Like there's like everybody owns like a Sazabi Infinite Dimension. Everybody owns like some of these guys.
I do not.
Half makes his own stuff. Good points on add-ons, and again, just touching base on this one for educational purposes. The add-ons mean you have an existing base, which is from a licensed product. This one, for example, on the right hand is the new. So you have the new base, but all these yellowish creamy parts are the resin conversion, and that's what people mass produce. And again, that becomes that whole thing about like the artist doing a new thing, and it's just like making profit off his design or their design out of it as an add-on. But this is kind of like that perfect balance, or like you support the company that's producing the licensed model, and then you're supporting the artist who created this new add-on that you could have for yourself that Bandai didn't create, or whatever licensed product didn't create.
So personally, it's morally right, and it's actually righteous to support the artist, but it's legally wrong.
It's still illegal. It's
Yeah,
legally
exactly.
I
illegal.
mean, to be fair though, it depends on like how big the transformation is, right? And I think
Yep.
that in our society, in our world today, we have actually very outdated copyright laws. Like
Right,
they're
yep.
not well defined because artists, let's just say artists nowadays, right? Even the most successful ones, everyone samples. Everyone samples from things that they like, and they add it on top, and it's transformative enough to the point where, you know, technically you can say that it's something new, right? Something original.
Right.
But where you draw that line is based on how much money the fucking company has to poke
Exactly.
you out, right?
Yeah.
So
They could just
it's
buy you up,
really
shut you
it's
down
a really
completely.
outdated and corrupt system.
Absolutely.
And you know, even with like let's just say you build a like we look at that photo before, that was from, I'm pretty sure that was from Machine AU Wataru, which is an
Which
anime.
one is it?
The dragon looking one, I think.
This guy?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks a lot like AU Machine Wataru. I'm sorry if it's not, but
Mhm.
what happens is like you look at this thing, right? Technically, it is transformative from a Gundam kit, but again, the thing that you made is still intellectual property, right?
But is it
it is because it resembles it completely, right?
Theoretically, yes, but this
Could they
looks
even
more like a custom super robot than a Gundam, right? Can
Right,
you
but
label that a Gundam?
Yeah, like if I were to if for a Gundam, if I modify the head so that it's round in shape, it has 3 lenses, and then I make the chest more boxy, and then I paint into a color scheme that's green, then I just made like Votoms because that's clearly what I was going for. In this case, we clearly know that this guy is making in a Wataru kit, right? Like I think if I'm not mistaken, this I've seen some, like Barbados, like Lupus Rex.
Yeah.
I've seen that kit being modified into the main unit from AE Machine Wataru, right? At the end of the day, that's still intellectual property, which is something that's the reason, like how companies go after you is like this. You transform it into something else that's still part of our intellectual property. And the only reason why people see your art and they see that that you've like made this, the whole reason why people have traffic in your website in the first place is the fact that people know what you made. You just made this robot that I'm.
But this is a gray area. How do you define
Exactly.
what is a Gundam, and how do you define this? I'm sure there's patents, right? I'm sure there are. Like it's.
That's a perfect kind of like segue because like we're talking about conversion and gray area. That's what it was. So we were just talking about the resin add-ons and the upgraded parts, where you still need a base for it.
Okay.
Right. So to your point about the whole business and creating and what is a Gundam, the perfect subject for this one, and it's the cover to our show's ad, is the judge. That's a small picture, but like the judge, you guys get. There we go. Better. There we go. Let's talk about this one. Third party. Now, third party, to me, anyways, like this is like a compilation of all the information that I've read and kind of like summarizing it and interpreting in my own words. Is that a company that made their own product with the likeliness or inspiration from an existing franchise. Okay, so with this, everybody, there's a big kerfuffle on this one. Number one, is it a Gundam? Is it not a Gundam? It looks like a Gundam. It feels like a Gundam. It feels.
It has everything from a Gundam.
This thing called, what is this thing called? The Judge Gundam or something like that?
No. It's not the Judge Gundam. It's the Judge.
They just call it the Judge. I see.
Yeah, that's it. So the thing is, it takes everything from a Gundam. But what is a Gundam? A bipedal, armor-filled robots with skirts and shoulders. Like I'm not sure. Like it's just saying like, is it a human because it has like you understand? Like there's.
I think that it has the Gundam and the chest vent low. And
is the color yellow? Is the color yellow now owned by Gundam?
Yeah. I'm talking about a specific placement of where it is. Like I mean,
Colors,
like, okay,
based on the
like to be
colors.
frank, like to be real, you know, if I look at this, I'll be like, oh, cool, Bandai released a new kit. It looks like it's got a Gundam face on it. So I would say yes, it would be a Gundam. It even has a red chin. It doesn't give like one fuck about like any of that, right? The shoulders are very reminiscent. Like even the entire build, it's very reminiscent of like Gundam Seed, like Okawara designs, and then
Yeah, but
repurposed to look more like, you know, whatever Infinite Dimensions up to nowadays. I don't know. Like it just.
but then if you look at
Yeah.
Mazinger Z, is that a Gundam?
It's not.
And why? That's my question.
It's well, at first it has the giant, you know, that little that thing, right? So if this thing had the giant thing that like the Mazinger has, I'll be like,
Yeah.
that's a Mazinger Gundam, because it still has the Gundam face, right?
Let's go see
So it looks like an
Mazinger.
RX-78 too. This is from Brendan.
Yeah.
Would you say anything that references
Mhm.
the RX-72 Gundam? It's like
Would you say anything that references to RX-78 to a Gundam? No, but the Gundam face is super identifiable nowadays, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine if this is a fucking Gundam. This is still
Let me
original
go
work, right? But the thing is,
It is. Yeah, that's the thing.
infringing on that
So that
that
whole
little area,
third
right?
party thing, I don't know. There's many communities out there with different hobbies that have the third parties, and the third parties, I think, is more generally acceptable than a bootleg.
Mhm.
In most hobbies, communities, and whatnot. Reason why
Yeah.
is number one, the quality is really good. It's unique enough to be like, hey, this is a really cool kit, but it's like an inspiration from other franchises. Is it stealing something?
Mhm.
It's not really stealing if it's not created yet. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
did their own take on it. Sure, there's going to be visual likeliness, but that's just, you know,
is-
that's the gray area that everybody is kind of like.
This
I'm not saying it's right or not. That's the topic that we were just talking about, the likeliness. You are pointing out features that are resemblant or
Mhm.
remnant or you know, straight up copy of what a Gundam or like what, you know, a certain product would be. Red
Mhm.
chest, the fin, the V
Mhm.
fin on the face, the red chin. Like if we repaint this, we could repaint this to an RX-78 or the new Gundam,
Yeah. So
and it would be like straight up a Gundam, right?
the way I'm saying is that yes, it resembles. Is it wrong?
Oh,
Is
like,
it
so you're
wrong
asking.
ethically
Well,
and
okay.
legally?
So there's two things.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say.
is it morally incorrect? That's one, and two, is it a Gundam? That's what you're asking, right?
But if it
You're
is a
asking
Gundam,
these
then
two
it
questions.
is wrong.
Why
I
is
don't
it
think
wrong?
it's a Gundam. Yeah,
Because
it's
if you steal
It
from
has to
Gundam,
be
it's stealing intellectual property.
Like at the end of the day, these motherfuckers put time, and they're trying to hustle here in this market that's oversaturated with garbage. I appreciate the respect. I mean, I appreciate the hustle, but like, you know, it is what it is. It's I don't think it grabs, like, this specific kit grabs my attention, but I think for a lot of people it did, right?
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
this was like everywhere. Yeah.
Sold out. Second printing is sold. And then look at me. Okay, quality wise, I don't know. For those guys who did purchase this, number one, it's pricey as hell. This thing is like definitely on the higher tier of pricing. I did get one.
Hey, you know, they gotta make enough money to fight the lawsuit that's coming. They have to. They're getting ready. They're like, we're charging this, and we're calling the Judgment Gundam because, you know, Judgment's coming, and Bandai is gonna lick the fucking.
Yeah.
You know,
so the thing is, like, quality control. I think there was a percentage of batch where the neck was broken.
No. I think it was part of the design. The neck was supposed to be separated, and you could. I think that's what I heard.
No, I saw that you cannot put the head on the neck at all because it's like gone. So that's a quality control right there.
It's so weird. This like, stopping the bootleg talk for a side, like, and looking at this kit directly, right? This thing is so Chinese. It like, in terms of aesthetic and what they kind of like.
Yeah, but this is the paragon of quality.
It's you know what it is? It's the paragon of shuai, or like cool factor. Like, yeah. So this thing looks like banshees, like wings with like the aesthetic of like Gundam Seed, and like a tad bit of like Shinanju in it, and it's
Yeah.
like
I
it's
feel like
almost as if they took like a what people think
blender?
Gundams are
This
cool
is
are,
kinda
and they
like-
and they
Merged
use like
together.
an AI algorithm to like tweak it, and they just press the go button, and this is what came
Yeah.
out.
Because it personally it feels like a freedom, a destiny, and a death sight all together.
See, that's what I'm saying, right? Those kits are,
Maybe like a wing. Yeah.
Like I don't want to say like,
That's like Rosette. Yeah.
like those fans who are very passionate about Gundams that are cool, like oh fuck yeah, this is so fucking cool, like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
is the number one epitome of that, like a combination of all those cool.
Isn't that what all Gundams should be? All kids should be like,
No.
fuck yeah, that's cool.
I like my ass hammer, and I'm staying that way.
Super Robot Wars, again, another thing that like I wish they made more kits of, or like make models of, because I love the Super Robot. But when you look at it, like for example, the Huckbine, or that Lawrence mentioned here, when I looked at it, I'm like, that's the Mark II. Wait a minute, oh, it's not the Mark II. And I'm looking at them, it's like the R1, for example, the Super Robot Wars, like that's the Zeta. No, it's not the Zeta. Like it's definitely tickling to your preference, because like these guys that design it have that mentality that like most people, like they're designing because other people want it too, right? So they're definitely gonna cling to what works. John, Destiny works.
Yeah.
Big wings from
Yeah.
Seed works. It's so sugoi, right? The color scheme of Gundam, white being the hero color, primary colors, easy to identify. All sensors are green, all lenses are green.
Yeah.
Full stop. Ask anyone if you don't know what a sensor is, they're just gonna say it's green. Almost like
Yeah,
99%.
if Judgment Dragon was, I mean Judgment, not Judgment Dragon, Judgment Gundam or whatever this thing is called. If it was a bad guy, then it would have like red lens color,
Yeah.
all
it'll look
dark,
like a
like
zombie.
midnight blue aesthetic, and it would be a lot more slim, right? Like more menacing. If you
Hi,
silhouette this thing, it kind of looks like a what is it? Like Go Nagai. You guys know Go Nagai, like Devilman? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
got-
Devilman,
it's got
yeah.
that-
Fucking Devilman is great.
yeah. Oh, I want to talk about a point that Lorenz made in the comments here. He said that it's like, a lot of mecha from like Super Robot Wars, for example, has a Gundam face, but it's a super robot. It's from Super Robot Wars, right? Yeah, and I get that. At the end of the day, it's gonna be whatever Bandai, like at the end of the, like SRW, like Super Robot Wars is still
Super
it's
Robot
still
Wars.
part of Bandai's property, right? So Bandai can do whatever they want to do. They could release next year. They could release like a Full Metal Panic, but it's just Gundam, and they'll just say it's not Gundam. But the only difference is the person who made this it does not work for Bandai, and therefore it's
but
wrong.
Is it acceptable for original art though? If this falls under original art or original concept,
This is a Sonic OC. That's how I see it. Do you know what a
Right.
Sonic OC is? It's like
What's
those guys who like it's like original creation OC, like original character kind of thing. Like,
but yeah, so my opinion is that
selling it's a bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. The question is, because there's two sides to this debate, right? There's the seller and then there's the buyer. I think the buyer, like, I'm all for artists, like creative freedom, build whatever the fuck you want, like go ahead, right? Selling, you have to watch out and you have to respect your distributors and your providers, right? Like they don't bite the hand that feeds you. I think sellers should not approach like straight copies, but when it comes to these things, I think there's a gray area, and that's why like it's in terms of like artists and stuff like that. I want to also segue into the concept of general intellectual property.
Okay.
So, okay, let's establish different style of intellectual property, right? So if you print stickers with a Gundam face on it and you start selling them, if you make a box of metal parts and you call it for Sazabi, or if you print custom decals, sorry, not print, if you sell custom decals and they're all like for the Dynamis, for the Freedom, for the Destiny, stuff like that, is it wrong? You see, because these are not kits. These are not the main breadwinner of the company, right? They're and some of them are accessories, and they're all accessories. What's your opinion, guys? What's your opinion on the morality of an add-on kits, either metal parts, custom decals, and stuff like that? And not in terms of builders, but in terms of, well, sure, in terms of builders, but also in terms of, but in terms of sellers. Well, when you see a shop that sells these things, what do you think?
Okay, so if an item does not exist yet and some third party produced it that I need, for me, I would use it if the quality is great. Cool. It's 50-50 half the time if you've never tried it before. You could only rely on review or other people telling you. But I've had instances where I bought a third party decal, for example, and used it and it was total shit. Like it didn't stick to the material. It just like ripped and all that stuff. So I don't support poor material. You give me a third party that does an amazing quality, yeah, I have no issues using that. I've used metal parts. I've used add-on etching, like etched parts. I've used a whole bunch of parts before because it's not produced. Now, for me, that to me is accessory item towards. It's not the actual kit. If you're talking about verniers or talking about armor parts or decals, I don't have any, anything bad or wrong to say about it because it's useful.
That's a very neutral opinion. Like, if you would say, are you for or against?
Oh, I'm for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Straight up, for. If you're just wondering that, then yeah.
So, I have. So basically, there's a few companies out there, right, that makes decals, and more notably, like the rise of Delphi decals and Simp decals and stuff like that. Have you used any of these off? All the the third-party decals?
Well, I don't. I'm trying to phase out of decals right now. I don't want to like ever use them, but that's a story for another time.
Fucking hippie.
What I have noticed is like, I mean, okay, let's be real. Like, you walk into a store and there's some shit that you want, and I got money for it. I'm gonna fucking buy it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care what fucking old Kawaguchi, fucking old Japanese team have to say to me. Like, I'm just a consumer, dude. Lay off.
Remember, guys, that's house option. We love you, Mr. Kawaguchi. We love Bandai. I'm just
saying Kawaguchi because I'm saying Kawaguchi because he's like the old man that's like the face of Bandai. So if I were to point at Bandai, I'm not gonna point at a conglomerate. I'm gonna point at Kawaguchi.
That's it.
Listen, man.
Well,
I don't have time for this. I got dinner at 5, you know, like I gotta get out of here and do shopping.
Was it 2017 GBWC that he basically DQ'd a guy that used Sazabi metal parts?
He did in Canada. I remember.
Yeah, in Canada.
It was Martin, right? Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was his name, Martin. Yeah,
I think it's the first instance of the first GBWC Canada, and he got DQ'd because he
so
had
weird
metal parts.
Because like last GBWC, the second place guy. The second place guy used these kind of like third party pieces as well, but he didn't get disqualified, right? Which is what I find was bizarre.
I've seen Asia entries. They use Kotobuki, or not Kotobuki, but like other third party parts to insinuate the model. No DQ as well, because like, oh, it's so embedded that like it looked like it was part of it. But like, yeah,
dude, that's some like they need to stay on a lane. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yes and no. I mean, you always need to evolve and adjust to real life, right? But keep in mind, GBWC
don't change.
No, not at all.
But so keep in mind, like the concept of GBWC is that it's not a competition based on like values and stuff. Like, it's a market employ to make money, right?
That's not what GBWC is. Yeah, at the end
exactly.
Of the day,
it's not about talent. It's about what sells. So, I mean,
I think there's still like
you guys suck. If you guys can't make a marketable freaking product, you don't belong at GBWC. According to John, but that's not me.
No, but quality is second, and marketability is first. So if your kit is better quality, but it looks less good on the cover of magazine, they're gonna put the cover of magazine first, right?
Another trend, if you were talking, sorry, we're segueing away from this bootleg talk, but like just want to add point to that for GBWC. Notice that there's a trend. It's usually the popular kits that tends to place, right? Like within that market time frame. Say at December, there's a hot release for like the MGEX whatever. guaranteed, if there was a GBWC that year, that popular kit was the kit that's going to be entered, and 100%, not 100%, 99 point something percent, it will place because it's sold at X value, and if it's done right for your sake of advertising or marketing, I could see that being a keystone to like how you could totally cheat your way into winning GBWC.
That's what Simon's been saying, right? Because he was building his Johnny Ridden the whole year when he won 2017, I think.
You're about to expose Simon.
No. I'm saying that he's right.
No, I'm kidding.
Simon is right. So Simon has been building the Johnny Ridden, and I think the competition was April, March, May maybe. And in March, April, May, they released the RG Johnny Ridden. Yeah, so he says, I think I've been lucky because I built a kit that was the new hot thing at that moment.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I actually never considered like that specific aspect of it. I mean, obviously, like I've heard stories. Like for example, in I don't know which contestant this was, but he had a Banshee diorama in a Japanese village, I believe.
Oh yeah, he won the special award. Yeah.
He did, but I remember, if I remember correctly, he asked Kawaguchi like, why did I win, or like what can I do to do better or something like that. He asked for criticism, right? And Kawaguchi was straight up like, yeah, you won because we need to advertise this kit. Like how does that sound to an artist, right? Like that's really demoralizing. But if we want to talk about GBWC, you know, GBWC is it is a marketing strategy.
We should have a show on that because I think it's a really good topic, and it is written in. I don't even know if we could cover everything in one show if we're going to talk about GBWC because there's many many contestants,
there's
many
a lot.
different POV.
And we can review historically and then review the
I
current
think
philosophy.
Guys, for those guys watching tonight, we're gonna have a GBWC topic, and we might have some GBWC winners. Like half over here, placed how many times now in GBWC East? West. But yeah, let's circle back to your go on, Half.
Yeah.
Oh no, nothing. I just had my trophies from for Canada's stuff, and I just shoved them in hobby stores now because I have no room.
Nice.
They're like not even here, and man, they're cheap. Okay, I'm not gonna start talking shit about that. Oh, that's a story for another time. Like the trophies are terrible.
Oh, you're getting called out by Simon now.
No, that's what he said. He said that basically building the kit that is popular is an advantage to you, right? But circling back to decals, right, and buying those decals and those accessories, I think quality is very important. It is known that Bandai decals are complete shit.
Whoa! They're decent.
You've
I don't
used
know what
them?
you've been using all the fucking time. I buy from MSMN. Of course, I use them.
Buy Delphi decals. Delphi decals number one.
I did try Delphi
flawless.
decals. I did try Delphi decals for one of my kits. They are good. They stick. But there's also other ones. There's actually Haikyuu is okay. They're okay. There's other ones that like complete garbage. I think I forgot what it was. I remember buying it from and in the ad it said gold. I got it and it's gray. And Simon could.
Where did you get it?
From? Oh, a while ago.
Let's not call people out.
Let's not call people out for sure. But anyways, you're gonna get mixed qualities. But I think Bandai. Your opinion, I completely agree. If you believe that they're complete garbage, cool. I've not had a bad experience with them. I've used the Bandai decals for my my orange Gundam. It's the Phoenix Rising kit.
The orange Gundam.
The orange one that's you've probably seen a whole bunch of time on my social.
The EXS?
No, not the EXS. The Grays Resin.
That's the other one.
Regin Glaze. Yeah.
Julia.
So that was all. Well, it's a mix of Mecha decals from Child of Mecha. Shout out to Tim. How's it going?
Are they good? You like them?
I like them. Yeah, they're good. I still
them.
use them. I find that I use 1/100 scale decals for my 144s just because.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
There's another one. Like
Creative
there's
freedom.
decals, a really good price, and it's an independent guy doing stuff because we don't have those decals. I need decals that says caution, warning in different forms to the other. I don't have the means to make it. Right. I'm relying on these artists to help us facilitate our creation. It helps us make our workflow better. It gives us opportunity to make good art. So do I support third party? Yes. If the quality is there and it supports
Yeah.
creating new art. Full stop. You know?
I am with you with that. I'm 100% about quality, 100% about aesthetic.
They're all orange. Thank you, Sight.
I think
You're wearing an orange jacket, dude.
If Bandai is worried about all these things, I think just step up your game. That's not that's the thing. Like, there's a reason why people buy these. I'm not saying about, like, we talk about like the philosophy of.
What's your take? What's your take? Would you do support it? Like, your take is you do support the third party.
Me?
Yeah, for your builds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I support quality. So whatever it is, I don't care. I want quality. If the kit is better, and of course, like there's many, like, you know, like the gauging one where there's like a pentagon where like, oh, quality of design, quality of engineering, quality. Yeah, so all these things, if the mass of the spectrum is good in quality in all, like, whatever my criteria is exactly, like design,
it's aesthetically pleasing, affordable, and quality is great.
Yeah.
That's
and I'm also modeler, right? I'm also a modeler, so if it doesn't fit, like, I'm gonna make it fit. So for me, engineering is like secondary. Aesthetics is always number one. So that's why strict copies are I think it's bad. I think that enhanced version, like Mechanicore, is just like absolutely fantastic, right? It's like a massive, like, it's a hyper aesthetically enhanced kit, but also like exaggerated in size and like go look at Mechanicore.
I have the sorry, not Mechanicore. What was comparable to Mechanicore? Infinity? Is Infinity comparable to
Infinity?
What do you guys? What is this Mechanicore? Sorry, I don't buy third party.
So
not third party.
He makes his own
I just mean like metal parts, like upgrade parts. Because I usually go to. Oh, sorry, go on. Finish.
No, you know Aline Kshatriya? You've probably heard of it.
Oh yeah.
This is Mechanicore before they changed name.
So this Mechanicore, like the freaking. What am I looking at here? Was it this one?
So it's a whole ass kit, or is this like?
Oh yeah.
Big boy.
Okay.
So this is a perfect Xeon. More girls than that.
Frosted. It's frosted.
Okay, well the kit's ugly, so let's just move on. Show me a different photo.
But there's a market for it,
one
right?
was painted poorly. There's
a market for it. That's what we were saying, is like these companies release 100%. Kits for a certain market, and so it's for people who want like massively big and exaggerated kits. This is.
There's also Mechanicore. There's G System. There's I could name a whole bunch of other, but those are like some of the bigger names right now. I mean, G System is a bit old. Like that one's been around for like over 15 years easily.
Oh, G Systems. That's the one that I know. I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
So you were saying you don't buy third party. Why?
No.
Do you have a reason behind it? It's just no opportunity, or is there a philosophy behind it?
No, there isn't a philosophy. I think I just get whatever I can, and thankfully, like GUNPLA, the local club here in BC, and also IPMS here in BC as well, we have like this thing called Swap Meet, and basically IPS members bring up all their kits. It could be third party sometimes, but mostly it's like legit stuff, right? Because I think third party are pretty like inaccessible. It's hard to kind of like.
It all comes back down to like pricing, quality, and availability, right? Like we talked about earlier on.
I very rarely buy like model kits that are full priced nowadays. As much as I would love to. I mean, like there's some that are still like kind of cool, right? But I have a backlog to work on, so I'm not gonna do that now, right? Well, it's whatever's available to me, honestly. I even buy like rip-off tanks just for the Greeblies, right? Like the little detailed parts.
Yeah. Nice.
For sure.
Well, we covered I think most of the umbrella tonight. Definitely the bootlegs. I'm just thinking of like what if we missed anything that's important to talk about. Like,
does it hurt the industry?
Does it hurt? Oh, definitely not. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'll do my take first because mine was an initial gut reaction. I think that because of like the just the amount of people that like this really cool looking Gundam that was made. At the end of the day, it's still Gundam, right? People resonate that in their mind. So having more people know about Gundam, will definitely like inadvertently boost Bandai sales as well. And right now, Bandai's positioning themselves in China, getting ready to explore that, foreign market, right? It's like a bedrock of like a lot of opportunities for them to expand product overseas. And China is just a huge market. That place is like a crazy, but yeah, like that area, that territory, I don't think they're gonna focus too much on the West if it's very successful in China.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, well, the thing is it possible that it's not hurting the industry because they've been really constantly pushing into
there's resistance, right?
Exactly.
Like whenever there's a push, there is a resistance. So as long as Bandai workers are competent, they won't get phased out. And Bandai still holds the technology to like one of the best engineering stuff in the entire world for model kits, right? They're even experimenting with new material, just like they had a press conference like earlier this year. So Bandai is very smart in like reinvigorating innovation, right? And China can just be like, those third-party guys could just be like, I like that. Let me detail it up a little bit.
Spend 10 years designing the new technology, whatever.
Only to be taken down. Only to be taken down.
Oh
yeah.
Does it hurt the industry? Is the question. Do you have any other points on that before?
No, I think that bootlegs are here for a reason. I think that people, it's a very taboo discussion because we want to support the people who actually like own the property, right? Personally, for myself, I think that everything's game. Like if I could get my hands on it, I'll use it. Unless it's like a competition in which I can't use it, then I'm not going to use it.
You're limited to follow rules, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, these are just fucking toys. Like they're just small little model plastic pieces.
So
right?
that is my point of view, right? It's a hobby. Like why does the legal team of a multi-billion-dollar company in like across the globe supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to do in my basement?
What the fuck?
I'm
gonna right?
Build your own stuff with all those model kits and books. Don't buy it from us.
Yeah, that's it. I'll build what I want. Like, of course, I have like it's 99% Bandai because I support I support the good quality of design they have, but
I just want to answer a question here.
Quality of engineering, sorry.
What about unofficial Gundam novel, blah blah blah, made by fans who sell them at events like Comic Kit? Apparently, I've heard Japanese companies see Dojin as a gray area. It's true. And I think that's actually a great question. This is how Bandai's responding to domestic terrorism right now. I'm just kidding. Domestic like bootleg stuff, right?
We are not going to negotiate with bootleggers.
What they're going to do is they're going to put into the reason why it's a gray area is because a lot of people from the industry that have made these TV shows and classics, all the designers, they come from all different walks, right? They come from Comic Kit. They come from like event organizers and stuff like that who began to work for Bandai eventually, right? So I think for them it's like an area in which innovation can come from, right? It's like a hiring, it's like a hiring like career fair in a way, like C3, Comic Kit, Wonderfest,
exactly,
right?
Wonderfest,
and these things, if Chinese people can go to Wonderfest, technically, they can sell those things at those venues legally, right? And I think in the future, if Bandai is smart, they would create Wonderfests or have those types of arenas in which Chinese creators can put their creation on the table and be like, okay, now I could sell it, right? And then they can also find fresh talent from China as well, right? So that's, again, just the way, like, it's still a marketing strategy, right? And that's the resistance thing I was talking about, right? That's the type of action that they would do to keep, new people.
But they are giving away licenses to certain resin kits or certain model kits in these events for a very limited time. Let's say you're only allowed to sell 200 of them for 24 hours during this event. But these licenses cost an incredible amount of money, and they're also like refusing like tons and tons and tons of people, which means that they are purposely making inaccessible for custom artists. And I mean, I'm not talking about like the dojins or whatever. I'm talking about like the very specific.
They're building hype by not allowing them to be accessible. That's the hype.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing. If you could give more of these, like just cut it by half, right? Cut by having double your production of licenses for custom, but for not custom, for artist made resin kits, that would be great. We could see a lot more Unfortunately, I think they're slightly not gonna give much of those licenses to Chinese artists, but they might give a lot to Japanese artists who could evolve into the future generation of mecha designers and mecha builders and kit designers and kit builders of the world.
I completely agree on both of your points in that one. Like I wish I could add any further, but like the only thing really on that one is like, but if it's not an IP infringement, unless it's enforced. Like the house saying, it's like it's fair play at that point. Like there's gonna be a level of tolerance where a company will be like, nope, you know what, you guys are making way too much money, I'm gonna shut you down.
I mean, there's also like a level before that. You mean like being enforced? There's a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, cease
and
desist.
Then what happens after is fair game, right? Yeah. You get in prison for what? How many years did he get? Like 99 years in prison for copying kits?
Really?
Is that it? No.
Yeah.
I think I heard that, but I'm not 100% sure it's accurate.
Oh, okay. Hopefully not that long. That would be ridiculous.
We do have a question here. I want to try to get to. This is from Lawrence. What are your preferences in aesthetics and proportions for a kit? Ooh, that's a heavy one. Can we let's do like 3 points on that one each? That way we could just limit it. Let's start with John on that one.
Sure. Well, I it's always athletic, right? So the jeggin, where it's like high mobility. I have a preference for grunt suits, but most of the grunt suits are not like super athletic or whatever. So I'm gonna like in the UC line, I'm gonna say more like in terms of the jeggin, and that's why I'm gonna say like see Destiny as the best aesthetic design. So look at this chunky boy, right? No matter how chunky he is, this thing looks like it can move, right? Like it has like a very weird proportion into the legs, and like it's a and that's what I like about Seed Destiny. I like these proportions. I like the kid that can make a split, right? That's the like the Destiny. That's the perfect Gundam is the Destiny Gundam.
All right, cool. Half, what do we got? What's your preference in aesthetics and proportion?
Actually, that's actually a hard question. I like all kinds of things, even though I always say it looks like shit. I like, I guess in a way, I like extremity. Like I really like things that are fully realized, right? Last like Mecha Pew Pew, or like 2 Mecha Pew Pews ago, I remember we were talking about our favorite Zeta designs, and I pulled up this virulent that was like, what the fuck? It looks so weird. But that's what I really like, which is like replicating an artist's like vision of what it potentially could be, right? I think that model kits in themselves, if you look at them, they're very, very stale. They're standardized, right? We were talking about that earlier about Bandai kits, and that they have to create the standardization in order to push products to be consistent, right? Quality control is very important, but it also hinders a lot on what the original mechanical designer likes. So for me, I like things that are fully realized. So like Okawara's proportions, you better paint it like an oil painting, right? Like Okawara, the way he does that. Nagano with his like fashion and extravagance. So like I appreciate those things. I like artists. I don't like an engineer's interpretation of what an artist's work looks like. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
For me, I've been consistent with mine. I think as much as I like doing, I'll be doing grunt suits and heavy big boys eventually. But if you've seen some of my builds, these are the things I tend to lean towards.
It's
Like
very
to John's
pointy. It's
point,
always pointy.
pointy,
Yeah.
but it's also the symmetrical of it. I love wings. So if it has wings, it has backpacks, it has like dual wielding weapons, symmetrical. I find that to me appeals the most in regards to aesthetics. So if I'm looking at kits to buy, I tend to
I think you
definitely
both love Seed.
Oh no, Seed is bad. I hate Seed.
No. I'm talking about the designs.
the design
Like,
quality.
yeah.
For Seed. Seed
I
and
think
Seed Destiny.
the
See,
pointy
Destiny is like-
triangular figures that they have. So if you're looking at the Justice,
Yeah.
Freedom, and all that stuff, I'm definitely
Yeah, one of my
inspired by
favorites
that,
is
yeah.
Blitz. Like Blitz
Yeah,
is
the
one
Blitz
of
is
my
great.
favorite Gundams.
Yeah, and it's
It's so
asymmetrical.
slim.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sexy, man. It's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
For me, the strike obviously is number one, but like the second to that definitely is the I Justice, the one where he got like a more leaner backpack, like it's all pointy and angular, and he has like this like his shin sword, where like somehow the knee and the feet connect to make a sword, and then when he kicks, it slices other people's leg. I don't know. That to me was kind of so ridiculous that I had to like it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on, John. Where are we at? Where are we at?
We are basically the
So
let
we
me
were talking
see.
about like the legal enforcement, legality, and I think stealing ideas. Those were some of the questions
Yeah.
that we think we covered a bit.
Mhm.
Quality decals, we did talk about that already. Not limiting creatives to censorship. I think that comes down to like that conversation about C3 and Wonderfest, because
Yeah.
again, if you don't hinder people's quality and you actually
Yeah.
hire them as designers, you might actually get a decent
Yeah,
product out of
exactly.
win-win for everybody.
That's how a lot of fresh talent, got
Mhm.
came directly from those kind of
But that's the thing,
meetups,
yeah.
gatherings, right? Yeah.
If you do stuff at home, is it considered like you're an aspiring artist, or you are a guy stealing the intellectual
you,
property,
Tigers.
right? Stuff like that. Like it's basically like if you start printing hats and T-shirts for yourself, like is
Mhm.
it wrong? And I think it's always debatable, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It is
The thing
debatable
yeah.
until I actually do something that I
No,
that
that's it. That's it.
sell, and then I'm like, yo, fuck these guys. They need to lay off. Right? I totally would get both sides. It's at the end of the day, I think the reason why it's such a gray area is just because our copyright laws are so weird and backwards and outdated. Not
Yeah, but
properly
it
defined,
stems from a very like logical way. It was like if you have an idea, you want to protect it, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
issue is that when we think about this and how they made the law is probably how like you see the starving artist who creates something, and then the rich guy who's just sweeping in and taking out like the idea and the profit out of it.
Yeah.
But then it's the other way around now, where it's like the rich conglomerate who has an idea, and then the small artist who's trying to like render homage, render like give like inspired from stems from like the big idea of Gundam, because that's his passion.
Yeah.
And now it's just the reverse roles of the original idea of the copyright laws you were saying.
Right.
So
I'll put
just
a
a
I'll put a
segue,
hold on that. I have thoughts for that, but we are going on this
Yeah, yeah.
segue here.
because we have
Other-
was asked. I have a question. Other unofficial Gundam stuff. What do you guys think of the Gundam Beast fan-made Gundam designs where each Gundam transforms into a robotic animal? And I just pulled it up. I think it's talking about this guy. I've seen this around for
Yeah.
a couple of years now. You guys probably have seen it too.
So-
I think it's great. Like it's
Yeah.
the thing is it's not a produced product, so therefore this falls under creative arts and original art for me.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time running. If you go to any comic book conventions or any type of art conventions, you're going to get these artists that have amazing concept drawings that should be made or could be made. What do you guys think of it? I think they look great. I think they're aesthetically pleasing.
I think that if at some point this guy starts making more than a certain amount of money set by Bandai, he can definitely get sued.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I think what he needs to do first is like figure out if it could actually transform like that first. I feel like he just kind of drew it, and then he drew what the animal form would look like. But if they transform, that's great, Just don't make it real. The moment you make it real, Bandai is gonna knock on your door and he's gonna like steal all your money from your vault.
Steal your mom. He's gonna be like, hey, so you owe us like X amount because you've been
yeah. How
No,
dare
I
you
feel like
make
no matter how much I respect Bandai, like I have higher respect for Bandai and all the work they did and everything they do for us as obvious. But in all this talk, they do feel like the medieval taxman who like knocks on your door and just like hand me the money, hand me half of everything you have.
You're comparing him to like a cultist church.
Oh my god!
Who's ready to fuck you?
I have the highest respect for Bandai, but that's what it sounds like. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Circling back, I think if you're talking about like if it's gonna hurt the company and all that stuff, both of you guys have said both no on that, because like I think it's just something like people need a means of access to certain things that they don't have. I completely agree that it doesn't hurt the industry, but it may hurt specific sectors of it, mainly their employees who they hire legally to produce illegal stuff, right? The profit that the margin of profit, and I'm guessing here, I'm not a finance person or any type of analytical person, but like in regards to the business part, but the amount of money, it's not zero. There's going to be a percentage loss because of these, bootlegs, direct copies, or even, maybe, I wouldn't say third party, because I think that that's their own thing, that they have a business and you're paying for a unique service and product. I'm talking about strictly bootleggers and people that take intellectual properties and make money out of it, because that percentage will definitely affect their overall performance financially. And that's where every company builds up from. It's their fiscal year matrix. Did we make our target? Will Billy have his bonus this year because we made X amount? It's still that unfortunate world that we live in, where it's like there's a work for work. Like you have to work in order to get the money. Your work has to work for you in order to reap the results. Bandai, like any other company, have to follow these rules. By people just stealing their stuff, that's stealing, and that percentage will affect a sector of the company. So will it? The question I'm just trying to answer is, will it affect the industry?
I think positively, probably. When you're talking about complete bootlegs, right?
I'm talking about complete bootlegs. The other ones
bootlegs, okay.
Third party is not. I'm not counting that as part of, because that is a plus to our community and
plus
the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because two things. One, in the community, you have this product that you could use to perform your art or just collect or whatever to satisfy your own personal preferences. Yeah. To the industry, they're looking at these guys like, hey, look at this design. I think we could do it. I hope that's how Bandai is approaching it, like getting inspiration, getting like the motivation to like, hey, kick their ass. It's your turn now. Step up the plate, do something about it.
They definitely, they definitely have to kind of like adjust with the times, right? Like with the emergence of the internet and like going back to John's point earlier, like the reason why these things are so prevalent nowadays, and Bandai might see it as a threat, it's just because it's so easy nowadays to market online. You have that's an open platform, right? Whereas before, you would have to like go with like somebody else, like some other big shot wig who can advertise for you on TV or newspaper or something like that. The internet,
or like an online streaming show, for example.
like this thing. But yeah, like it really changes things up, and I think if Bandai were responsible and they hired the right people, what it is basically like a thesis and an antithesis, right? You have the bootleggers and you have Bandai, and what emerges is synthesis, right? Which is the kind of like compromise. And in terms of Bandai, they just crush them, right? Like they go to China and they're like, we're crushing you guys, and we're gonna put our little flag down here, and it's totally reasonable too, right? It's just business.
Do you think that Bandai is doing better because there's a resistance?
Better.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Do you think they've improved? Let's say like there was never any bootlegs. Do you think they would have like just felt comfortable and sell the average looking kit? or because there's bootleggers, they're trying to raise their game to a certain level where they basically get inspiration from the people who get inspired by them.
Yeah, I
It's like
think
vicious
that
circle of like.
in order for a company to grow into even more of a global conglomerate, you need to think bigger, right? So like having people kind of like step on your territory incentivizes you to take action. And I think that if there are no bootleggers, Bandai would have still stayed and chilled in their, little island, and they would maybe export it to Hong Kong, or they would export it to here, and things won't be as developed, right? You know what I mean? Like if China, if China like started, creating these bootlegs, obviously I'm gonna be like, wow, okay, you guys really want this stuff, and there's a market for it. We're gonna take a risk. We're gonna do it, right? So I think you need that antithesis to really evolve and adapt with the modern times.
Nice.
What was the premise of your question? Say it again one more time. I just want to see if I could put some input on that one. Is it better?
Basically, as Bandai grew from the existence of bootleg, or do you think it would have stayed stagnant? Would it stayed the same?
No, the reason why I don't think so is Bandai needs to survive. Therefore, they need to keep making. And it's not just the figures or the kits or whatever that we're getting. It's the shows, right? All of these are based on something we relate with. So for as long as they're making shows, they're making kits, they're making profit. So the thing is, like, another platform that bootleggers tend or have not, broken into would definitely be the advertising of it. That's one. But number two, it's the show aspect, the TV aspect, where people could know it from. They're writing off Bandai's show so that they could create the bootlegs and sell it, right? Now, Bandai, like I said, like any other, it could be any other franchises, Transformers, 80s toy line, etc. They're gonna need a TV show, and then what's it called? And make these toys for people to get. So are bootleggers influencing them? No, I think Bandai is still gonna, or the companies are still gonna do their own thing for sure.
I think Call Me Animal said it like what I was thinking, right? Is that it drives an arm race to design techniques and design aesthetics.
Oh, this one, yeah. Whoever gets there first wins it. Absolutely. So with the third parties, if they get there first, then they compare Bandai to it. The Testament is a perfect example of that. Exactly. Right? Yeah. You got a Testament third party out, looks great. Then Bandai takes a swing at it, and it's like, and a lot of people like it. I personally am on the fence with it, right? So it's kind of like,
I mean, like it's called the space race for a reason, right? When Americans went to the moon, it's not because there was like, oh, let's just go to the moon. It's to actually compete with the Soviets, right? To get onto the moon. So you have to compete, and competition stimulates change, and consumers are all for the better for it, I think.
Some people have said that maybe a year or so after the what is it again? Not a breakdown, the rundown of the Chinese uprising of the bootlegs. They
uprising. That's the word we want to use for it. Uprising.
Uprising. It's okay.
But they so they released the what is it again? Metal Structure New and the Metal Structure Sazabi, and a lot of people say there's a rumor that I think it's based on the design of them, but they say that these kits were actually in some of these guys' factory. And they literally stole the mold, and they're like, wow, this is an okay looking kit. We're going to make something out of it. So this is a rumor. This is only a rumor. But design-wise, it kind of proves it, because the Metal Structure New, the Metal Structure Sazabi does have some Chinese design influence.
It does, yeah.
So
very much so. Suspiciously so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very.
So what do you think? Do you think they're capable of doing that? Do you think there was a?
It's all game. It's technically mine if I win.
It's pirate mentality.
If I'm Bandai,
it's a pirate mentality.
If I'm Bandai, I've raided your warehouse. I've won. Technically, all this intellectual property is mine. Yeah. The government's not going to stop me because I've already paid them. How do I make that money back? Oh wait.
You can't.
Oh wait.
Oh wait, this.
like even if it's a rumor, I do see merit in it. Obviously, there's no evidence, so this is all speculation.
No,
but
they're not gonna say, "Oh yeah, we stole
they'll
the Chinese
never
stuff."
say it.
No, that's it.
Even if Bandai goes
no.
bankrupt, the CEO's not going to be like, "All right, you're making a documentary. Let me tell you about that time we raided a Chinese factory and stole some guy's Sazabi." Like, they're not going to do that. We'll never know. We'll never know.
I think I found the Bandai mentality for that one after they get rated. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Is that a meme? I hope it's a meme.
It's definitely a meme.
Yeah, that's Bandai.
But can we pull some of these the metal structure just to show the design?
What about metal structure though?
Metal structure new. Oh, let's go Sazabi. Let's go Sazabi. It's very unlike
the freaking 1,000 plus kit.
Sorry, quadruple that and maybe.
Oh, sorry. That's the weapon expansion. Sorry, the $4,000 kit. Okay, let's take a look at the Sazabi real quick here. This thing is a
but I think. Wow,
but look at its chest. It has a.
Oh, I've seen this one before. Yeah.
beast.
Well, okay.
So it has like, if you look at the shoulders, if you look at the chest, if you look at like just how the how do you call it? The shin is made.
I call it cluster fuckiness, but
yeah.
The cluster fuckiness is definitely prevalent. Yeah, I think.
Like
It's
it feels
possible.
very, like,
It's definitely possible. But this is
just a
official
theory.
Bandai product, right?
This is an official Bandai product. Yeah.
And this
Is it only released in China?
No, in Japan.
Oh, no, it's Japan.
Okay.
It was. I think it wasn't an event exclusive, except there was a lineup and sold out in a matter of.
But this is
Wait,
definitely
you
like
could-
hyper stylized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
You
go
could
ahead.
make this out of
Go ahead.
plastic and cut the cost down by like $1 billion, really, if you really wanted to.
I mean, people have been waiting for a perfect grade new for years. Like I've been calling it for the past like 6 release. I've been like, yo, yeah, this one's the next new Gundam as a PG.
Is this 160 scale?
Yeah, 160 scale.
I see. Okay. Well, I think it's also important to. I don't think we have enough time for this, but I will quickly just address it. It's just like the Chinese like consumerist spending habits are very different from every other market as well. So it wouldn't be surprising to have something this extravagant, right? And people buying it just for the sake of, wow, look, I have money. Right? Like,
equals over paneling.
Well, as a proof of what you're saying, I heard that about 95% of the lineup for this kit was Chinese scalpers. So
yeah. Well, there you go. I mean,
from first-hand experience, first-hand.
The evidence is there, I guess. Yeah.
For me, it's the new. If I'm gonna spend this much, it would probably be. And I don't even like the new as much as a lot of people. I'm not saying that I don't like the new. I'm just saying there's a lot of people like it more than me. No, the thing is, like, I just never
like it more than you.
Yeah, you definitely like it more, and that's fine. And I completely agree that you like it more. There's just like other Gundams that I prefer over it that I would probably get. You know what's crazy though? I have like 5 news somewhere in the back there, which is whatever. That's a different story.
I only have one.
Well, there you go. I like it. I like it more than you have. What's up?
I see. I like it because it's so standardized. Like we were talking about that. Thank God it's standardized.
Let's take a look at the details here of like what it. I like it. There's like a whole bunch of like it's a dio on its own. You're buying pretty much a diorama off a hanger.
Yeah.
You're buying a diorama set.
Oh no, they're separate. No. Sorry guys.
They're separate. Okay.
Diorama is separate. You have to buy the middle structure on its own. You have to buy the diorama set on its own, and you have to buy the funnels on its own.
But you're saying we could buy all of it. That's important. We can buy all of it. That is the key word there.
Throw enough money at something, you solve the problem, man. That's
as long as you got the money, you can buy this. That doesn't mean I will respect you though, but well, it's okay. They're too rich. They don't need my respect. It's okay. I'm just some jabron.
Anyways.
Beautiful. Well, I think this is a summary of our ideas about bootlegs and third party and all the intellectual property talk, right? Of course, there's like infinite conversation about the subject, Maybe another episode someday. Like
I think so too, because like I want to include, and for you guys that are watching, I want you guys to like message in ahead of time if you guys want to be in, because like I think having you guys on board too would be make it fun. So it's an open invite. You guys, any of the future episodes, send us a message if you want to be on the show. We would love to have you in. For as long as you have a mic, you have a webcam, you have a headset or something to hear us with, and you're not a complete asshole like Half here, you're welcome to come in and hang out with us. So
Fuck you.
And talk with us.
Bitch.
Open invite, and obviously just follow ethical rules and all that stuff. But to John's point, we covered a lot of definitely good points here. Again, POV is from us, and it's not something that we go out of our way to like, promote said bootlegging and all that stuff. Purchase on your own. You guys are big boys or girls or health, and you could make your own
It's
decision.
your money.
It's
Yeah,
your money.
that's it.
What makes you happy?
That's my philosophy.
We're
Is like
society. This is the whole
do what you want.
of our economy.
Yeah.
Just buy whatever.
Yeah, don't need your respect. Got
Just be nice to people.
We have one more question here.
They got
Can I
money.
be part of the stream when you guys talk about G Savior? We're never gonna probably talk about G Savior because it's not a real show. And I'm kidding.
Yeah,
We'll keep you in
it's
mind,
not-
Leon. That's good. Yeah.
Well, Off was saying
Honestly,
that like
Xavier, fucking designs are beautiful. Okay, anyways, go on.
I like that. Yeah. We're gonna have a G Savior episode further down the road. Neon will keep you in mind. And again, thank you guys so much for coming in. John, how about some final thoughts on the show tonight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I support the artist. Do whatever you want. I don't care. And that is actually like a strong philosophy. Like freedom, creative freedom is my my motto. But don't be an asshole about it. Like just don't. If you can get the real stuff, get it. If you can find better. Like cheaper is not better. Cheaper, there's no argument for cheaper. If you want to get a better design, go for it. If you want to save money, like you're gonna get headaches, and that's not the way to do it.
Just buy within. Just please be financially literate. Yeah, and just
go
buy
on.
things, and don't judge people for buying bad things. You can, if I don't know, if you're a friend, whatever, who cares? But you don't have to give people a hard time just because they bought a fucking bootleg. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. If you buy bootleg and you make it look better than the guy who bought the original, I think kudos to you. That's the
Yeah, and the thing is also, was that both your final thoughts? We're gonna add some more on that one. How if you have any more things to add on that one? That was a really good summary. Chris. No,
don't buy bootlegs, but also buy bootlegs. Just do what you want.
Do you guys? For me, POV wise, I think from a modeler's perspective, that resources can be acquired through like various means. If for as long as it helps you grow as a person, yes, sure, I support purchasing third-party or off-brand complete bootlegs. I don't support the idea of stealing intellectual properties because it's someone's livelihood that you guys are affecting. But
that's it. My point was stealing versus borrowing, and I'm against stealing. Borrowing, sure.
Yeah. And bootleg is good for kit bash too. So I think that was like from Owen here. Call me Animal. Thank you again, guys, for tuning in and giving us pointers from your POV. But if it helps you become better, sure, I support it. But I don't support the idea of stealing from any type of intellectual property. So I just want to put that out there. So it comes to you do you. What's comfortable for you, and if you are doing it, make sure you're doing it for yourself. You're not making unless I don't know. That's such a great region about making profit. But that's a different show altogether. But again, it's your personal preference. Do what you want to do. But support obviously the licensed people because they are doing it through the legitimate legal way and system. Just be ethical. Be ethical when you guys are approaching bootlegs, and be aware of bootlegs. Some people buy, they don't even know. And hopefully this show, we showed you some example. Rewind back to the beginning of the show to look at some of the examples. Do your research before you purchase if you're not 100% sure. Unless it says Bandai on the box, then there might be a potential for it not being legit. So just keep that in mind. But happy building, guys. Build, create, never be limited. That's another thing too. If there's any takeaway from this, never limit yourself to what is being out there. Look for alternatives if you can. acquire them through rightful means if possible, and grow as a modeler, a person, and just don't be an asshole about it.
Yeah,
That's it for me. And so, anyways,
good talk.
Good topic, guys. Thank you guys for that. And I think what I want to do now is just thank everybody that's watching.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Twitch. We had a lot of good people come in tonight and give us their opinions. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much. If you have not done so, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and notification bell so that you guys know when we are streaming. We're streaming again next week, right, John? Next Thursday.
Absolutely.
We have that one. So, guys, we're going to be posting that as well. Don't forget to check out Hey BC, thanks for coming in to do the show, and I haven't even put the caption. I got you. Distract them, John. Distract them.
So, have you seen this? No, I don't know. I have nothing. Bootlegs are great.
Distracting him.
I know he's trying to give you some rep about like Hey BC, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on Instagram or something.
There he is. Check him out. Instagram.com _hey_BC.
Yeah, if you disagree with my opinions, PM me and I'll kill you.
You can't do that. You can't say that at the show.
Whatever.
I like it.
I'm not AO Mecha,
I know, right? Well, with AO Mecha, I don't just come and fight you and kill you. I will take a big heaping dump on your carpet. Now, for our sponsors, guys, thank you again. Just want a big shout out to our sponsors. Let's go roll them out. MSMN Studio. If you're looking for Gundams, if you're looking for materials and kits, and if you're in Canada, check them out. MSMNstudio.com. Check them out on their Instagram and Facebook and their socials. And lots of good stuff there. Also, guys, don't forget USA Gundam Store. Check them out if you're looking also for Gundams, tools, kits. If you guys are in the States or international, they do ship as well. And you could save with my discount code AOMECA10. Our community, Side 6. Check them out, guys. If you haven't, we're a whole bunch of like cool people there. We want friends. And if you want friends, find us there. Facebook.com/group/Side6. And lastly, AO Mecha Live is coming back. I finally figured out the date. We are aiming for April 5th. This coming April 5th will be season 3 of AO Mecha Live. More info to come on that through my socials. So thank you guys again for being patient, and I can't wait to get back into regular streaming on that as well. But you know what? Pew Pew has been such a fun show series, John. I don't know about you. We talk offline about this, like all the crazy ideas we have. Guys, we have so much freaking in store for you guys. We're going to have so many more guests. And Hayden here, hopefully you'll be back again for future shows because we love chatting with you. Again, good times here. All right, John, final words. Let's do a send out.
Thank you to the audience. Thank you for joining in and saying, stating all your opinions and about this super taboo subject. One of the only place where we talk about bootlegs on YouTube, apparently, somehow. Hopefully, we thought a lot of people about like the different stuff that is out there, and keep building.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, let's say bye to everybody, and we'll catch them again next time. All right, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
We're still on, but like I'm just putting a thank you for watching because it was such a great show. I want to have a dissection talk about this because there's so many good points and like lots of the points from the fans.
Dude in the back.
That wait, what? I don't know. Oh, that guy.
That guy standing.
The guy standing.
Beautiful.
So ominous.
It's
interesting.
It's a metaphor that we're looking towards the future. It doesn't matter at that point.
His future looks gloom and doom, dude. It's red.
Listen, the present looks gloom and doom.